One of the most memorable things about visiting Russia was the metro system. I've enjoyed it so much, I'm dedicating this video to it. I have a great fondness for all things to do with trains and planes and automobiles, and unlike the Hong Kong MTR system, which is very much utilitarian in its design. Except this part, of course, with the 3 gay black Chinese men in ballerina costumes, and with the gay pride rainbow flag colours lining the walls of the MTR. The Moscow metro system is totally different, and that's due to its history, because it was built during the communist era. It's so visually appealing. The stations, the trains, just walking around. I deliberately visited actually all the stations on the Koltsevaya Circle line. It's the brown line if you ever look on the map. I made an effort to just go and visit every single one to see how different they were from each other station. When I went to the exit and entry points for these MTR stops, they looked like museums. They were basically disguised in the local environment. If you were none the wiser, you just think, why all these museums in Moscow? Do they love history so much? Well, they do, obviously, when you get inside. And I'll show you inside. That's welcoming. It's becoming easier and easier to use English in Russian metro stations now. So just look for the Union Jack and ask for your travel card there. Don't bother using the machines. This is good for 3 days, and this is 400 rupees, whereas individual trips would cost 55 rupees per trip. As we make our way to the platform for the first time, let me share with you some Moscow metro facts. The most important fact is going to be the Wi-Fi, and it is free and it is available on all the lines on the metro system. Opening times. It's open from 5:30 in the morning to 1 AM at night, so it's perfect if you're trying to get home late at night. Moscow has like the deepest underground network. Some historical facts. It's the 5th longest metro system in the world. It opened in 1935, so it actually makes this the first underground railway system in the Soviet Union. And so far I have seen all underground. The Park Povedi station has the longest single escalator in the world, taking 2 minutes and 40 seconds to travel on. But this isn't that escalator. The Moscow Metro is the 2nd most heavily used in the world by daily ridership. Only the Beijing subway bests it. As a side fact, there are about 35,000 dogs roaming Moscow, 20 or so of which have actually learnt to navigate the metro systems, just like us regular human beings. I unfortunately was not lucky enough to see this as it happened. Something that you'll see in abundance are uniforms, whether it's in the form of soldiers, officers or security personnel at nearly all entry checkpoints and turnstiles. I felt totally safe travelling on the Russian metro, so will you be. Now this is just me, and your mileage might vary, but I found the Russian metro to be more organised and easy to travel on than the Berlin metro. For me, it was hard to go the wrong way, and with everything clearly signposted, I could get the train I needed. It didn't matter that I couldn't speak Russian, even though I could speak German. I made a game out of lining up the Russian characters from my phone to the characters on the wall for the stations that I needed to go to, and I didn't have any problems. Beautiful train stations. The only downside to using the trains is that the signs are blocked by the train entering the station, so you have to wait until the train departs.
The next station is Novoslovodskaya.
Look at the opulence. I love the metro system. It's really big, it's efficient, it's clean, it's a little bit noisy, but that's okay. Have you noticed there's no rail guards at all? And the whole place looks like an antique. what's not to like about antiques? There were about 200 metro stations here, and they were all designed to shelter people in case of a war, so that's why they're so big. Flip side of that is though, is that they're super easy to navigate and get around. It's just a shame that the signage isn't as obvious to non-English speakers, because you do have to play a character matching game when you want to find out which way you're going.
The next station is Kropotkinska.
As you walk from station to station, one begins to realise the colossal effort in having to maintain all of the art and unique characteristics on display at each of the individual stations. Collectively, all of these stations contain either bespoke railings, murals, mosaics, chandeliers and other custom lighting effects. Then there's the brickwork and tiling. Altogether, the general level of craftsmanship has to be a costly sum, with keeping each station in its own condition.
Двери закрываются. Следующая станция – Парк культуры. The next station is Park культуры.
So let's go back to the beginning and ask why the Russian metro system was built in this highly decorative, ornate and no doubt expensive manner compared to the more modern metro systems of today. If you ever travel to Asia especially, those metros are built for purpose. Their stations are simply an ends to a means to carry people from A to B. The Russian metro not so. The original idea was, if in the event of a nuclear war, the metro stations would also serve as a refuge. This is why the metro is so cavernous. It had the dual purpose of also serving as a huge bomb shelter. And while masses of Russian people seek sanctuary deep underground, they would also seek comfort by being surrounded by all the communist era art that was meant to inspire and evoke a sense of patriotism. Look at me making a video about it. I'm not Russian, and I'm left awestruck at what has been built. Even I feel inspired by all the propaganda. I'm in a photo selfie spot. Thankfully, there was never a war, and what's left over are the grand aspirational remains of a previous generation's ideology for all of us as tourists to experience today. Welcome to the canned outro video. This will now be at the end of all my videos, just to remind you of a few things, because it seems that you don't know how to use YouTube. I mean, I'm just watching other YouTubers and they keep doing this and I'm thinking, what? People don't know how to subscribe to a channel? Okay, well I better tell my audience to subscribe to the channel. What? They don't know how to like a video? Okay, I guess I'll have to ask you to like the video that you just watched. And what? I've got to ask you for a follow on Twitter. I don't do follow for follow, by the way. So I guess follow me on Twitter. And if you really liked my video and you didn't want to click the adverts to show your appreciation, you can just donate to my Ko-Fi account if you want to show some love, and you can buy me a coffee. Thank you very much. I actually am in the process of replacing this. I want to buy a brand new Mac, and then I can work a little bit faster and hopefully put out more YouTube videos. So that's what you'll be donating to. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Here's a fun fact. When I was visiting Russia, the temperature was 11 degrees. It's December now in Hong Kong, and it's 11 degrees. The cold that I experienced in Russia has caught back up with me 4 months later. Yes, and I know my walls are bare, but unless you know a solution where I can stick something on these walls without damaging the walls, I'm not allowed to do anything to the walls. Drop a comment down below. Give me your suggestions. Don't say blue tack.